DJs, today a quick tutorial on tempo ranges found on CDJs and controllers. Why do we need such a fluctuation in different tempo ranges? On Alpha Theta or Pioneer DJ equipment, the typical ranges are plus minus 6, 10, 16% and also wide. Well, first and foremost, plus or minus 16 or wide is only really going to be useful for you if you're pulling off different tricks, creative sort of things, and also if you're doing big fluctuations in tempo on songs. So for example, if you're jumping from R&B up to house and back down again, then those ranges are going to be very useful. Other than that, you pretty much are always going to find yourself in the plus minus 6 or 10% ranges. But why do we have these ranges? Well, as you can see here, we only have a certain amount of travel on the tempo slider. That is fixed. That does not change. And so what you will find is if you adjust the tempo range, you will have an increased or decreased amount of control on the speed of your track. So if I have this range set to plus minus 16, as you can see here, and I need to increase the tempo of my track to 3%, you can see that I'm making very, very small adjustments to get to that 3%. As you can see there, it hasn't traveled much at all on that slider, which makes things quite fiddly when you're in a live environment. Comparing that to plus or minus 6, you will notice that I can actually manipulate this quite a lot more. In fact, going up to halfway down that tempo slider, because obviously, of course, it's halfway down for plus minus 6 to get to plus 3. And so there's a greater direction of a greater level of movement required. Means it's much less fiddly in a live environment when you're DJing. And that ultimately leads to a greater control over your mixes. Now, I would recommend staying in plus minus 6, especially if you are doing long melodic blends, because you're going to have a lot more control and everything is just going to be a lot more accurate. You can see here as I move the tempo range, we're actually going up in 0.2 increments. Compare that to plus minus 16, we're going up in 0.5 increments. So it is a lot harder to get that level of accuracy. Hope that you have found this useful. For more DJ tips like this, do hit that follow button and share this with a friend that will find it useful, and I'll catch you in the next one.